Hello everyone, I died to Xing Tian. Now, in the previous game, I pointed out, and I actually want to kind of follow up from the previous episode. The previous episode, not the previous game, that was a whole different day. The previous episode, I pointed out that despite having a better technical KDA than the enemy Kumbhakarna in the previous episode, I nevertheless was a lower level and had less gold than him. The essential reason why is because I spent too much time in the jungle trying to gank and rotate when I really didn't need to. And the Kumbhakarna stayed in a lane longer and got his farm, and that's really something that I should have been doing and wasn't. So in this particular game, we're going to talk about that a little bit more. We've got some pretty nice composition so far. I am very curious what the jungler is going to be. Loki, okay. Alright, that's good, that's good. Alright, Thanatos, Agni, Atlas, Sun Wukong, and Neith. Alright. So, of course, right off the top, we're going to be building the fairly standard support opening of Sentinel's Gift, I think it's called? Sentinel's Gift, I'm pretty sure. And start Gauntlet of Thebes, you know, get the first stage of that. Now, again, the reason why is because, well, for Xing Tian specifically, unlike, say, for example, Ymir, who can turn around and effectively utilize, say, Benevolence or, the War Flag, Xing Tian's auto attacks are too miserably bad to be effective with that. So we don't do that. We're also going to want a Hand of the Gods and some multi-potions. Just as last episode, multi-potions, specifically because Xing Tian's HP 5 from his passive is so powerful that you really don't need much else. Right, you don't need regular health potions. You're more likely to use the multi-potions, especially given the ability reliance of Xing Tian. I'm only really reiterating this in case you haven't seen the previous episode. And then he's going to put that down so that way the instant... Yeah, so what I'm actually going to do in a bit of a twist here is I'm actually, this is going to be fairly rare, is I'm going to hog this. I'm not even going to necessarily utilize, yeah, I'm going to hog this. Because by the time I get over to there, he'll have already gotten rid of a lot of the other stuff, so we can actually speed the process along here. And he's going to teleport over there. He'll already have started the minions, so I can just utilize my Furious Roar right there. Take care of that little problem. I was going to say, he kind of needs to pick that up. Put that down there. And here we are. You'll notice we actually got a little bit ahead of them here. We're going to try to clear the wave as quickly as possible. We're going to push them back. It's going to be quite delightful. Alright, and then we are going to get our jump so we can escape if we need to. Atlas is a fairly tricky little danger. He's going to start that. There we go. Notice I'm trying to maximize the range of my Furious Roar. We're going to go ahead and just do some body blocking here really quick. Hello. Alright. We are aggressing on this for some unholy reason. Hello? Now what I'm going to... Yeah, he's going to be fine. I wish I'd hit her with that. That would have been really nice to do. I unfortunately missed. And then we're just going to back up here. That was a bit unfortunate. I wasn't quite expecting that level of aggression out of them, and neither was Heimdall, clearly. Just take care of that little problem there. And boom. I don't know how he missed that. He, by rights, should have gotten me, and I should be dead. That was a bit of an oversight on his part. Nope. I don't know how she got him, but okay. Now at this point, I'm just going to be trying to defend this lane as best as I can. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to stop them from taking that. Best I can do is weaken the wave. Nope. Nice try. Notice that again, this goes back to what I was saying about the multi-potions. My continuous ability usage and my passive has really made my HP increase by a decent amount. Now that Heimdall is returning to the fray, I'm going to weaken her down a little bit here. I whiffed that. That was shameful. Yeah. This is fairly rough, because the Atlas is just very strong. Not in terms of damage, although his early game damage is, I think, a little too high. I think his flat damage could stand a little bit of nerfing. But overall, his crowd control capabilities are quite impressive, especially for the early game. That's about the best I can do here, so I'm going to go ahead and fall back. I'm going to go ahead and grab Emerald Mail. I'm going to grab Greater Cloak of Meditation. Why is this down? And we're going to grab a Sentry Ward and a regular ward. And then we're going to head back to the right because Atlas is still over there. Neith is level 5, Atlas is level 5. He's dead. The Heimdall is too aggressive for there being an Atlas. That's really the problem here. When you're playing against Atlas like this, you really should be a lot more passive, and after he successfully ran away and escaped the first time, he really shouldn't be leaving Under Tower. In all honesty, that should just not be happening. Let me just hit puberty really quick there, that's fine. I'm going to hit level 5 before. The Heimdall has just remained level 3. So this is going to be pretty rough overall, because I'm really not able to help him. He's just way far and away too aggressive here. Alright, I'm going to leave this lane now. I'm level 5. I need to leave the lane. I need to leave the lane specifically so I can allow, ideally, Heimdall to solo farm. Atlas is here in mid. That's a good thing. He was already anticipating this. This is actually what we want. Why are we not attacking? We can kill him. Yep, easy kill. Can't get Agni. That's fine. Put that down there. The kill on Atlas is very important. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can gank the Neith. Now, the Neith, she used her backflip to approach. That's not going to happen. She used her backflip to approach there. You could see it. She's a more skilled Neith than average, because it's really only, I would say, advanced Neith players who really typically pull that trick. It's very effective. I like to see it used, but it does indicate that the Neith, at the very least, is pretty good with Neith. He's probably going to pull me in. I'm not too concerned because, yeah, he's not going to be close enough for anything serious. He's going to pull me in now. He's not. That's fine. Now this is going to be fairly interesting. Oh, let me just walk through all of that. That's fine. I'm going to die here. Oh, wait. Maybe I won't. The fact that she killed Agni is pretty huge. I want him to chase me. So I can do this. I didn't actually intend to kill him there. I just kind of went into full combo mode. That was more automated than anything else. That was just instinct that I should not have killed him there. Gonna be really honest. That was something of a rather... Actually, we're gonna sell this in favor of grabbing Cloak of the Ascetic. Okay, so as bad as it looks in right lane, you'll notice he's actually starting to catch up. He's now level 6, she's level 8. He was originally 3 levels down. Oh, that was her ult. Okay. Now, I believe the enemy jungler was over there. Agni is right there. So we're just going to defend mid lane right now. Now, notice... I mean, yes, I also killed him once, but notice that we also have the advantage of... I'm killing them, and I don't want to be doing that. I want my stacks. Does he have his stacks? He's starting to build his stacks, yeah. I really need to back off and let the stacks happen. I'm just going to let the Heimdall farm by himself. She's level 9, he's level 6. He's going to be getting up to level... whatever pretty soon. That'll be fine. Oh, wait, Loki's up there. I did not even notice that he was up there doing that. Can we gank right lane? I think we can. I will dive for that Neath. How did she kill him? Good enough. I'm hoping that Heimdall at least got the assist for that. Oh, shoot. If she hadn't killed him, she was going to die. It was just... she was right there, ready to die. I'm just going to grab my assists here. That's 3 over there. Oh, wow. Agni was over there too. What are they going to do now? As long as they... Okay, they're just going for mid. Is Agni still over there? No, he's bailed. Alright. I gotta get my Gauntlet of Thebes stacks. Okay, good. Good, 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 good. There's Agni. As bad as this is looking, this is not the worst case scenario here. We're doing okay overall. That was bad. We're gonna just stop you right here. I don't have what I need for this. I just more wanted somebody to die there for that. I took Thanatos at least down. That was an intentional kill, because Discordia was unfortunately unable to finish off the Thanatos. It happens. I knew that in order to at least make that even there, Thanatos needed to die. Well, it still wasn't even then, because... Even then? Because Loki died in it originally. You go on ahead. Have all your fun. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Oh, I am dead here. No, I'm not, because they cannot... No, they are going to finally kill me. Okay. Now, at this particular point, we want Breastplate of Valor primarily for the cooldowns, the physical protections, the mana. So we're going to go ahead and start working on that. That's going to be fairly important. Now, we're still a little bit behind the Atlas in terms of gold. We're 100 gold down, and we're going to be 150 gold down, possibly even 200 gold down by the time we respawn. And he might get a level on us. He's almost done with his stacks. That's just the way it goes. That's fine. We're still doing okay overall. And the reason why he's actually ahead is because he's participated in 7 kills. I've only participated in 4, but that's more because of the unfortunate situation with the team. Heimdall was just way too aggressive early game. Built Devourer's Gauntlet for some reason. Hello. I'm not going to get into the technicalities of Devourer's Gauntlet over other methods of lifesteal right now. Hello. Mine. Let's just have nothing happen there at all, huh? I'm just going to let the minions die. Okay, she's going to take these guys out. Good. I don't know where Atlas is. I have no idea where Atlas is. But I do know I need to be... There he is. Yeah, I don't care, Atlas. He keeps trying to pull me in. It's only worked once for him. There's Heimdall. Where is Neith? Heimdall is 4 levels down. Here she is. I'd like to, but she's kind of rooted me at this point. That's fine. As long as Heimdall gets the opportunity. See, she just rotated to mid for absolutely no reason. She had no reason to be here. In all honesty. Okay, we were finally done with our Gauntlet of Thebes. We have some kind of problem going on over here. Loki, you threw that away. That was an opportunity right there. My dude. Good job. That was actually pretty important because that means Loki is now free to do whatever he wants. I'm going to split with Loki very briefly here. Mostly because now that Thanatos just died, he has the opportunity to catch up pretty cleanly. Discordia needs to do some catching up with Agni. So I'm just going to take advantage. I'm going to, slip some farm in here and there. That's not up. Yeah, that's up. I guess I'll just split this with Loki. No, we should be finishing this off. Come on, man. It's just Atlas. She was not in danger. Good. I just wanted to do that to refresh my passive. That was all that was about. No, we're good. Okay. She didn't need to take that for me, but... Oh, she did need to take that for me. Barely had enough damage for that. If he has his ult, he does not have his ult. That's unfortunate. That was a very unfortunate death for me. Although I'll be able to get Breastplate of Determination. That was good. That was very good. He's got, Pridwin. Okay. Pridwin's really good on Atlas because Atlas's ult reduces the enemy's protections, so Pridwin is actually really strong on Atlas. I probably could get away with building Pridwin myself. I might later on. Right now, my next move is going to be Pestilence. Neith self-heals. Sun Wukong self-heals. Thanatos self-heals. Agni is probably going to build Lifesteal at some point. Okay, there we go. We can get something done here, I'm sure. Interesting. I'm dead. That was a mistake. I shouldn't have gone that far deep. I was trying to zone out the Agni, but that did not work out. If they can turn this around and pick up either Agni... Okay, they're good, good. Pick up Agni, pick up Agni. That was excellent. 2 for 3. That was good. And Heimdall gets right tower, which also means he's going to start catching up to Neith. That was actually a really good fight. I died for nothing. I shouldn't have been that far deep. but the actual fight itself really worked out in our favor, quite by accident. We're actually going to go ahead and increase this to the greater one. Atlas got a huge advance, though, because he got some assists out of that, and I did not get any assists out of that, so I am definitely behind. Mostly because, again, that death was pretty crippling. I'm going to have to pull some stunts here. There we go. I'm not too worried about my health. Again, I have my passive. That's not a problem, not a problem. Actually, I can weaken this down some more so you can just take it in one go. I'm just here for the experience. Now, Heimdall's problem right there is he overstayed. Once he took that tower, he should have bailed. Do we have this up? We do not. We do, but... I'm not going to make it. Oh, I am going to make it because Loki's back there. Alright, that's interesting. This is not a particularly healthy thing for me to be trying right now. Okay. Shoot. That was good. I'm just trying to pick up some assists here. I'm gonna die. Here we go. Yep. I overstayed. I should have just left and come back. That was a mistake on my part. Although, Shiva's really cleaning up in the background here. Zoinks. Okay, so that's 4 for 3 so far. It looks like he's going to probably take somebody else going on here. Oh, she needed to hit that. Yeah, she's just going to leave. He needs to take just Sun Wukong here. There we go. 4 for 4. Yeah, the Thanatos isn't going to be worth chasing right now. Oh, he is 3 levels ahead of Sun Wukong? Holy cow. Very impressive, very impressive. I'm still behind Atlas, but not by that much. I don't think... Yeah, her ult should still be down. Dead. Scorty just wants the assist at the very least. They're going to catch up? No. I'm going to go ahead and clear the wave here. Alright. And I'm just going to get these assists here for the heals. We're going to push this up a little bit. Then we're going to go in here because Atlas is over here. And we want to... Okay. She tried, she tried. Why? We had a good fight there. Oh my goodness. No, that's not worth it anymore. That was a good opportunity, though. There was just 2 of them. Oh, they threw that away. We didn't need to retreat at that point. We had almost everyone full. Shiva needed to go back. But no one else did. Everyone else is pretty fresh. Out of the fountain. I don't know why they fell back. That was a clean kill right there. 2, at least. Because I even had meats. I think her beats were down. Does she even have beats? Yeah, she does have beats. I was going to say. So the fact that they didn't go for that... I have no idea where they went. I'm just going to go back. I want to heal. I want to grab this. Alright. There's Thanatos, who we might be able to kill. Don't you worry, child. I got you. There we go. Wait a minute. Nope, that's not worth it. Okay, he's not even remotely interested in that. That's fine. Good, good. Atlas is still a little bit ahead of me. But I'm getting there. Mostly because I've been wandering around in the jungle too much, to be completely honest. There we go. That's still down. That's fine. That's fine. No one's gonna help me with that. Okay. Okay. I'm dead. There we go. Although she missed her ult. We're not grouped up. We need to be together. He's level 18. He doesn't need to be split pushing at this point. We need to be winning these fights. I shouldn't have gone around back behind the Pyromancer. Are they seriously trying to take that? Interesting. That was a good play. They may have destroyed the fire giant, but they're not going to be able to survive. They're going to get wiped out. Shiva's way strong at this point. Yeah, I'm going to try to join that fight as quickly as possible. Split push accidentally worked out. He still shouldn't have been split pushing for the previous one. Once we started calling defend the fire giant, he should have rotated over to left jungle specifically to defend the fire giant. That was a nice complete team wipe. That was good. This will give me the opportunity to pull ahead of Atlas. Just take it. I can tank this. That's not a problem. Just use those to rejuvenate my passive. And we're out of here. Yeah. Once again, I will tank this. That's not a problem. I'm going to have to get out of here. I can't tank that anymore. Why him? Holy cow. We can't take that, yeah. They all respawned. Why? Discordia stuck around too long. Should've just left. No. What I want next is this. For the last of my cooldowns. A really nice passive. And then I'll want, based on the enemy team composition, I'll want Spear of the Magus as my final item, which will help me deal some decent damage. And more importantly, be able to increase the damage my allies are dealing to the enemy team. Since everything Xing Tian does damage, everything I hit them with is in fact going to provide the 7.5 bonus. No, we're not going to go for this? Oh, we certainly could. We easily could. My goodness. I mean, yeah, Sun Wukong is up, but I could stop him. It's not really that much of a problem. I'm just going to solo clear these, just specifically for the golden experience. Alright. I'll push down this one last wave in the hope and dream that the wave can take the tower for me. I'm doubting it, but it's worth a shot, and it's not like I'm going to lose anything by being up here. They are not going to have enough damage to kill me. Can I actually... Hold on. I'm going to be very careful not to use my third ability. I'm going to also tank this for the minions. Yeah. We're going to hit this just to get the stacks on my passive. Do the same thing to this. We're actually going to go back at this point. I have Pridwin. And I have this as well, which is nice. Now, in this particular instance, I really built Pridwin for the cooldown and the passive. I wasn't too concerned about the protections. You'll notice that they're not really building copious amounts of penetration. Neith has almost no penetration. Agni is. Agni is slapping with pen. Thanatos has penetration, but the Neith doesn't. So, having a little over 200 protections is fine because there's a physical and a magic that both have pretty high penetration. But otherwise, that's really the justification there, why you would want that. If one of the damage types, or even both the damage types, didn't have strong penetration representation, then maybe you could lighten up a little bit on that. Now again, we're going to use our abilities on this just so we can stack up our passive there. That was a little earlier than I was hoping for. We're just going to come over here and just blast this with a Furious Roar for the express purpose of refreshing the stacks. This is about to come up. Come on. You've got 10 seconds, Fire Giant. Let's go. Need you to land. Come on. Thank you. Barely timed that correctly. 2 seconds left is not a lot of leeway. That was fairly good. Just take. I only ulted him just to make sure that he couldn't take the Fire Giant. He actually deals decent flat damage, so I really wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to be able to do so. Okay, I'm in some pretty serious danger right here. Not really much I can do with this. Nope. You're not getting away. If I'd known she was right there, I did not notice she was right there, I would not have stolen that. I didn't actually need that. I actually didn't use that. That's fine. Why is the Titan targeting... Oh, it's Shiva. Never mind. Who are you going for? Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay. Excellent. Now, how specifically did that go for me? Well, there were some opportunities I think the team dropped. There was the fight right after the Gold Fury that we got, where I had successfully ulted Atlas and Neith. I think the team dropped that. I saw an opportunity there. And you're going to have this problem. Again, I want to reiterate this because I don't think it's talked about often enough. One of the main shot callers of the team is the support. Because they're the ones that are going to go in and they're going to pick up, they're going to pick the targets and they're going to, bring the, stop the targets. They're going to crowd control the selected choice, right? So one of the main shot callers of a team fight is the supports. The other one is the jungler. Because the jungler needs to generally dive in and kill the enemy's squishy targets, the ADC, the mid. So the second shot caller should be the jungler. Okay? Now, when I had successfully ulted Neith and Atlas, we should have been going in on them. Now, the problem there was that my allies had already left by that time. Or they were starting to leave, actually. I think would be a better description. Nevertheless, the fact that I was able to ult both Neith and Atlas created a beautiful opportunity, and we really could have killed both of them there. There was another point. I tried to do the same thing with the Pyromancer, but we were not in a position for that. I failed to recognize that my allies were not as nearby as I thought they were. Where I thought they were was not where they actually were. Which is why I died so horrifically at the Pyromancer. That was a mistake on my part. I didn't double check the map before going in for that. And I should have. That was entirely on me. I misjudged where my allies were. And again, as a support, you have to be really aware of that. My overall build, again, I built very specifically to achieve very specific goals. Now again, as a support, one of Xing Tian's best moves is Sentinel's Gift. The only time you aren't going to want Sentinel's Gift on Xing Tian as a support is when the enemy team has a copious amount of healing. I'm talking, they have a Hell on their team, they have Chang'e, they have Ra, someone like that, right? Horus, Baron Samedi, all of these kinds of heavy-hitting healers you want Tainted Steel for. But other than that one exception, that specific scenario of a substantial enemy healer, you generally are going to want Sentinel's Gift, because it's just incredibly effective on Xing Tian. You probably have noticed that Warrior's Axe is in among the starter items as well. That's for solo lane Xing Tian. We'll talk about that when I get a solo lane Xing Tian match, whenever that happens. But Sentinel's Gift is usually going to be your go-to, right? So you have that. Now, Gauntlet of Thebes, again, fantastic item. Pretty much every support builds this first item. He went with Sentinel's Embrace, which is fair enough. Which, actually, I want to talk about that in a bit. But I went with Breastplate of Determination because I specifically wanted the higher physical protections. The enemy team had Neith and Thanatos and Sun Wukong. Neith was very ahead. Thanatos was doing pretty well at that time. I believe the mid-game was where Thanatos was most dangerous, and as a support, I was going to be particularly threatened by Thanatos' ult, so I really needed the Breastplate of Determination over Pridwin, which would have only given me 30 physical protections compared to the 35 extra from Breastplate of Determination. Furthermore, doubling my protections through the Glyph of Determination was also really going to help me stay alive against the threat of Thanatos. So, it was just going to, overall, that is specifically why I built this over Pridwin. Now, Atlas building Pridwin was actually a mistake for exclusively one reason. As unfortunate as the Heimdall's gameplay was throughout, Loki was doing really well, and Shiva was absolutely curb-stomping. Atlas should have recognized, because even at that point, Shiva was very far ahead of the Sun Wukong. I think Shiva was 2-ish levels ahead already by that point. Atlas should have built Breastplate of Valor, whichever glyph would have been his preference. Probably should have gone with Breastplate of Determination as well. But he should have anticipated the Shiva problem and built Breastplate of Determination. This is actually why once Shiva started rotating into team fights, Atlas began falling off. Now, overall, yes, Atlas did assist with more kills than I did, by 5. Atlas also died 2 more times, which is actually why I was able to pull ahead of him at the end. Atlas died more often at the end, and part of that reason why is because he did not account for the Shiva's heavier damage. Now, I knew Thanatos and Neith were going to be a threat to me. Even if Thanatos started falling off in the late game, which she wound up doing, she was still going to be a threat because of her ultimate. That is always going to be a threat for supports, because you just have to fall under a certain percentage of your maximum health, and you're doomed, alright? Thanatos and other instant kill abilities like that, other executes, pose a huge threat to you as a support, so it's always worth building a little bit of extra defense against whatever damage type that execute is. In this case, Thanatos is physical, so it was a physical execute, so you want to build up a little bit more defense there. And again, Neith was also slapping extremely hard, having fed off of Heimdall early in the game. Now, Pestilence I built, again, as I mentioned earlier, Neith, Thanatos, Sun Wukong, all self-heal. I anticipated Agni building lifesteal. I was wrong about this. Thanatos built some extra lifesteal at the end, so that was fine, but either way, I still needed Pestilence for some magic protections and for the anti-healing for at least the 3 that self-healed in their kits. Now, I built Pridwin to give myself 40% cooldowns and to get myself a passive that could do some decent damage. I only really wanted the damage from the passive of Pridwin so I could potentially combat the Thanatos. I wound up using it to kill Atlas. That's a completely different scenario. That's fine. But I wanted something that I could at least answer Thanatos to, especially since, given the enemy team composition, I was going to go into Spear of the Magus as my final item. Now again, as I mentioned earlier, Spear of the Magus is particularly interesting in that, although it's a pure damage item, some Guardians can build this and be very effective with it because they are basically ensuring that their allies are going to be doing an extra 7.5% damage. Now you'll notice Discordia did not build Spear of the Magus. So if I had bought that, then my allies would have been dealing an extra 7.5%, because whenever somebody is afflicted by the Spear of the Magus effect, they take an additional 7.5% from all damage sources. Fire Giant, Towers, Gold Fury, whatever. Everything. Allies, minions, literally everything does an extra 7.5% damage. So some Guardians can use this really effectively. Now, I don't often build this on Ymir to specifically draw a comparison to Ymir, because Ymir's Ice Wall does not do damage, and it's very easy to escape from Ymir's ult, right? It's much harder to escape from Xing Tian, because he's got the Furious Roar, which does damage over time, even, keeping the effect on, because it has a cooldown, I believe. But you have that kind of projectile, which Ymir can match. But you have the Ground Slam, it's the Hook Slam, which is 2 attacks. So you have 2 opportunities to inflict it on an enemy if you miss, say, the first part of it. You've got the Double Jump, again, 2 opportunities to do the exact same thing. And then you have your ult, which is, even if they beads the ult, they still take the damage from it. They adjusted that, I think, 2 years ago. So even if they beads your ult, you're still doing that damage, and even though it's not going to be a lot of damage, you only need to inflict just a teensy amount of damage to inflict the Spear of the Magus passive on them. So it becomes very useful for Xing Tian to have this, and especially when you take a moment to consider, you get a multi-enemy ult, you hit 2, 3, 4 of the enemy team in one ult, they are all taking 7.5% increased damage, and they're all just clustered up right there. They just get absolutely decimated. It's absolutely fantastic. The only time I don't build Spear of the Magus is if the enemy team composition is very heavy on the tanks. For example, let's say Thanatos was Ravan, right? Then maybe I would build Soul Reaver instead and do percentage of health damage with my abilities rather than having my allies do 7.5% more. Now, why do I switch to Soul Reaver against tankier team compositions? Well, tankier teams obviously are taking less damage, so 7.5% of whatever the core damage is isn't as meaningful. But me dealing an extra 3% of their maximum health through Soul Reaver with every single ability really stacks up, even if multiple hits only do, I think, like 1% or something like that. It's about 1% of their maximum HP. With subsequent hits, you're still dealing a decent amount of their health every time, and especially when you combine that with Xing Tian's Furious Roar, which already is doing percentage of health damage, it just really stacks up well. So it's a bit more meaningful for Xing Tian to build Soul Reaver on very defensive team compositions. But again, this was not one of those. Only Atlas and Sun Wukong were building protections. Thanatos, I think, had physical protections through Seer of the Jungle, and that was it. I also want to take a moment to address the fact that Atlas built Stone of Binding. Now, Pridwin he could have gotten away with, even given the very the by that point well ahead Shiva and the threatening but still fairly on pace Loki. This was still acceptable. This was a bit more of a problem. Again, Stone of Binding itself isn't that bad. Actually, this is pretty good on Atlas, But the problem is, again, you've only got 35 of each protection, and I know that's going to total 70 protections, but in this particular context, we're more concerned with physical protections. Now, what really should have happened is Atlas builds Breastplate of Valor instead of Pridwin here, and then builds Pridwin, and then maybe finishes up with a nice Stone of Binding where the Breastplate... See, the Breastplate is the third of these. Just take the Breastplate of Determination, put it where Pridwin is, and push the other two down, and you've got a much better setup here, alright, for surviving what our team was doing at that time. This was built far too late. And then I'm not quite sure what this was going to be, if this was going to be Heartward Amulet, if this was going to be Pestilence. Pestilence wouldn't have made a ton of sense. No, actually, everyone on the team was self-healing, so yeah, I can actually see Pestilence. This was probably going to be Pestilence. Discordia was starting to actually deal some pretty significant damage, but even then, Discordia was the only source of serious magic damage, and as long as Thanatos was doing their job, which, granted, at the time, Thanatos no longer was doing their job, Discordia wasn't going to be a threat. But, overall, that's generally how that shapes up. That is why Atlas began falling off towards the mid and really fell off hard in the late game. It's mostly because these three items were built out of order. The items themselves are fine. That's not the problem. It's the order that they were built in. When you're building support, and this is something that nobody talks about that I know of, and I don't talk about enough. When you're building support, you have to also pay attention to the what enemies are really doing well and what enemies are not really doing well, right? In this particular case, Atlas failed to factor in the Shiva being very far ahead, even if there was no anticipation that Loki would be pulling ahead, which at that time there wasn't necessarily. Loki was doing okay in the mid-game, but Shiva was definitely ahead and was going to pose a pretty serious threat. Even if you take out the Heimdall, Shiva slaps. Shiva's also the newest god, so Shiva's a little bit overpowered right now. Just a little bit. I still don't think that it's as egregious as it has been in the past, but still, the anticipation for pretty heavy physical damage coming out of Shiva should have been there, and that was just an oversight on the Atlas's part, and it happens. I still do that to this day, even. For example, I probably didn't need Pestilence at the exact moment I built that, but Agni was actually... No, I don't honestly think the Agni was doing enough damage to really be a threat. Personally, I should have flipped where my Pridwin and my Pestilence were. I should have built Pestilence after Pridwin. Agni was just not hitting hard enough to justify that, to be honest, at that time. Pridwin would have done me more good, because Neith was really slapping, and I could have used the physical protections more. That is an oversight on my part. Smaller scale to Atlas's problem, and it's why I had a problem in the mid-game. I built magic protections when Agni wasn't hitting that hard. And even then, I might not have even needed Pestilence at all. Agni was doing okay against me. Maybe I would have had to have built it because of Obsidian Shard. I probably would have, but I might have been able to get away with not building it, depending on how well the Loki was focusing out Agni. But that's pure speculation at this point. But I just wanted to put this out there and show you, what's going on here. So with that being said, thank you all very much for joining me. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, ideas, suggestions, or requests, please leave them down in the comment section below. And thank you all very much for joining me. And as always, have a great 24 hours.